I need glasses, wouldn't I?
Good morning. It's the Todd and Erin morning stream here on. What are you doing, baby?
I'm working with
GetHeartDaily.com.
Tony. Tony's going to be here. Tony Abbott with the great outdoor show going on in Provo.
He was sitting here telling his stories about Easter Island. He got to go there this summer. I'm like,
He has to go every year.
I know that's New Zealand.
He has to go to China.
It's so sad. I know.
It's just
But
crazy.
he's got some of the coolest stories. I'm really, really excited to talk to him.
All right, so that's coming up this morning. Let's go to the mountain cam and check it out, shall
Good
we?
morning, Mountain Cam. It's brought to you by Brio Technologies. You're experts in lighting, sound, and video. You can go to brioaudiovisual.com. It actually is really cool. They can rent, they can set up, they can do everything for you, maintain it, and you just get all the pretty results. Oh, wow. That's really, really dark. I thought it was starting to get lighter now.
There's clouds. It's going to rain today. Highs of 43. I got
live
to
with
tell you,
that.
I feel like an idiot.
How so?
Well, usually I do. But today, what do I harp on you every year at this time?
Flu shot. And every year I tell you I'm not going to be tagged by the government. You go get your own flu shot. And every year I don't get the flu, ever.
Oh, really?
And also the government does not know about my whereabouts.
Yeah. What's that flu you caught?
I got one flu
Which
10
one
years
was it?
ago when we were. It was the swine flu, because we were on the airplane with that lady coughing in my face. That is the only one I've ever had. It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
I didn't get one. I've been so worried about other stuff. I didn't get it.
Boy, and you've been lecturing us and lecturing us about it.
There's a reason you need to get it. This is horrible.
Tell me.
Well,
bad?
we're like ground zero right now. 400 people have been hospitalized. 7 reported have passed away.
And this is here along the Wasatch Front?
This is here along the Wasatch Front. They're calling
Wow.
it widespread flu, and I haven't got my shot, and they don't work until 2 weeks. I'll be living in a basement.
That's not great.
Wash your hands. Stay at home if you're sick. And if you do if you're working and someone comes in coughing like that, I think you're allowed to slap them around a little bit, aren't you?
No, because then you get all germy, make them go home.
And then use a broom and just push them around.
No, traditionally what you end up getting it, that was like from your kids, because they're like tiny petri dishes of death. And even if they've got their injection, and that's great, but they still bring it all home on their hands because they've been touching other small children and their secretions are all over them. And then they come home and they wipe them on your face.
It's going to peak.
Mothers know what I'm talking about.
In January, or this month. It's going to
Really?
peak. Yeah, this month. Utah County, Southwest Health District in St. George, all over the Bear River, Davis County.
I can't believe that they can track it that specifically, though, that it's going to peak, and they know how many, and they know when it's going to peak and all that stuff.
And evidently, they're talking about the flu vaccine, and originally they were saying it's only 10%. It's actually better than that. But this strain is highly contagious. Do you want to know what you'll be experiencing?
Yes, Todd, please give us a cautionary tale, won't you?
Fever, cough, sore throat, headaches, fatigue,
All the same things.
body aches.
Yeah.
This is how I feel every day.
Yeah, unless my pancreas is going to explode, it's like, okay, it's not like it's...
It could happen. So if you're older or younger, kids and older people
Yeah,
are
the
more
immune compromised are a lot more.
susceptible to it. So I should go do that today.
That's probably for the best.
I don't know why I didn't do it.
Really cool things coming up today, like Utah laws that you might be breaking and you don't even know it. What you get the Queen of England for Christmas, there's a certain level of pressure there.
What do you do?
The cruelest prank a roommate could ever pull on another roommate. I'm really excited about that. And the guy who actually broke into the Provo police station to steal something out of it, which to me seems ill-advised.
We'll find out what
It's going to be a really fun morning.
How much is this guy worth? Talking about the richest.
Jeff Bezos?
The richest person.
Amazon.com.
Hang on a second. The richest person in, and I know what you're thinking, the world. No, in history. In history. So are we counting Caesar?
Wow.
Are we counting Cleopatra?
Apparently that is counting everybody.
Are we doing that? The Aztecs with all their gold? Drug dealers? How much is it?
Saudi princes and
Princes?
yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Combined?
Can you imagine?
How much is he worth?
Bazillion, 9/11, I don't know. It's just the most.
And where do he make his money?
Well, Amazon.com, of course. He did
Amazon.
all of the developments he's done there. And if you look at it now, of course, it's bought into everything else. And so pretty much it will run our world very soon.
What's that like?
It's our new overlord and master. And since we're Amazon.com affiliates, by the way, we're not getting anything from talking about this even as an affiliate.
But
That's
if
just
they
a
want
disclosure.
to, this is annoying.
That's one of our best trophies because we are Utah's most awarded. video podcast.
Right. What is it like to wake up in the morning and get out of bed and be the richest person in history?
Pull up
What
in
do
the
you
curtains
think
and go,
about?
I own everything here.
You know, I
own all of you.
I get up and you know, we get ready to come to work and do the show and stuff, which I assume he still does because you're a motivated person.
Successful people tend to be very hard workers, and especially after they achieve success, they continue to work harder. That's just what they do.
And I like today, I know that there are roasts on sale at Sprouts for $3.99 a pound, which is a great deal. And I watch the food costs of our family and stuff, where someone like that has an aquarium that has the wall of lobster in it, and they're just lobsters all in this big aquarium
Which
on the
kind
wall.
of lobster would I like today? Would I care for an Australian stone?
And you get to go and you put a snorkel on, you go in and you catch your own, right? I just can't imagine. It's like not having, because most people fight. That's the number one thing couples fight over is money. And you have all this pressure all the time. I think you get gas and you go, $65, and then you get groceries, $104, and then you get all these things, and that kind of weighs on me at least. You know, you got a car payment, you got a house payment, you got mortgage or rent or whatever it is, vaccinations for the dog, and it's ticking constantly in my brain. Isn't it yours?
I didn't know that about you. I handle the money. I didn't know it stressed you like
Constantly. And so all of a sudden now you wake up and you have 700 tubes of toothpaste to choose from. All the toothpaste is yours. Wall of lobster, toothpaste.
Well,
no worries whatsoever. You can eat anything you want at any time.
Well, you know, they talk about the mentality, though, of millionaires, and this, obviously, he's in the stratosphere that's unimaginable, but there's two separate mentalities. One are people who did it themselves, and they never, ever get that sense that they have enough, not particularly in a greedy way, but it never sits...
Accomplishments.
They don't sit there and go,
right.
I've got so much money that I can just keep spending it now. They never have that concept in their heads. The ones who tend to inherit it, or they're in dynastic families, you know, like maybe the Saudi Arabian oil families and stuff, it's different for them. Their view is more of how can I live it? How can I use all of my money to get myself things?
Adventure.
It really depends. So for Jeff Bezos, I mean, he's one of the group that they talk about this all the time, where he still washes the dishes every night.
No.
Yeah, no, he still does. So does the founder of Facebook. And also, Bill Gates. Bill Gates.
No, the other.
No,
because he does it
Bill
too.
Gates does it as well, and so does Warren Buffett. They all talk about it specifically, that it's like their contemplation time. So if you think about someone who is unimaginably wealthy and they still do this kind of homely task, these are the guys who are still thinking. They never get into that position where they think, I have so much money.
You know, if I was doing the dishes, I'd hire people to cheer me on. I would.
You're doing so good, Todd. You could have your own Greek chorus.
Exactly. And when I go like swimming, I'd get like 30 people who are less attractive than I am. So I'd be like, hey, look at him. Does he have a wall of lobster? My lobster impression. Not to be confused with the iguanas
or the ticks.
All right. So I was just thinking about that yesterday. It must be crazy. Where does your mind, what do you do? I find that so interesting. Let's talk about...
I think I would be overwhelmed.
We're all criminals.
Well, I think that's a given.
We're all criminals. We're all going to jail.
I think we all know. I think we all know, though, that there's really random, weird Utah laws. And as a matter of fact, in the past, we've actually specifically broken them, like live on camera, just to see if anyone would come blazing up to arrest us.
What did they call these? They call them blue laws, don't they? They're still on the books, but they don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For instance, you may marry your first cousin if you are both older than 64. The concept there is
back
that
up. Yeah, well, the fact that
you can't breed, so they don't want any more of the inbred stuff happening. So
well,
if you wait till you're 65 and you love each other,
right,
go for it.
It's a lot. That's a lot of family reunions to resist, isn't it? But then again, when you're 64, maybe things are teetering off.
I gotta be honest. I look at all my first cousins and I love them all, and they're all really beautiful, interesting people. And
right,
the concept of ever being romantically involved with one of them is
right. Well, that's because on Christmas you have to do the manger thing, and you dress up like sheeps and stuff, and it just makes it weird because you have that attachment.
Yeah. Boxing matches may not allow biting.
Tell Tyson.
Well, it's actually been on the books before Tyson. Well, before Tyson.
Well,
then
is this in Utah or is this federal?
No, this is Utah.
Okay.
Here and down in Monroe, daylight must be visible between dance partners. None of that squeezy stuff.
All of it?
Mm-hmm. Keep your hands off those poofy sleeves, baby. You got to have this much distance. It's gotta
Okay, all right.
You may only have one cow on your property in Ogden. That's within city limits.
Well, that's... Oh.
In Trout Creek, the pharmacist may not sell gunpowder to cure headaches, which seems like that would be for the best. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, in Kaysville, you must have ID to enter a convenience store after dark.
Because...
That sounds to me like a robbery happened at once, and then the city council got together and said, we have to stop after hours robbing.
There's only one store that I know that they ID you when you walk in, and I was getting you some negligees for some event or some Valentine's Day thing, and it's that lingerie store. But as soon as you walk in, they're like, ID, please.
What store is this?
The doctor one?
Dr. John's?
Yeah, that's the one. The one's down on...
I did not know that. Yeah, they're down...
Try it. Go ahead and try it.
Yes,
Gives you an
they're
excuse
6th
to go
South
in.
and like 2nd West or something. Yeah. Really?
If I'm lying, I'm dying. Not lying.
I had
Any
no
others?
idea.
How about another one?
Those are my favorites.
Those are good ones? Okay.
There's a couple of others that are getting weirder and weirder, but... this is funny. Accepting bribes and tampering with evidence is illegal if you are the Attorney General. Apparently 2 of ours in the past have forgotten that. Yeah, that was a problem. Oh, and you may only sell shaved ice in Provo between May 1st and October 31st. They specifically did a law about shaved ice.
And you know this comes down to a constituent saying, hey, listen,
I don't like that little guy in the hut out in front of my Smiths. He's out there selling shaved ice.
Snow cones. And, I won't have that anymore.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Isn't it? I mean, it's the specific random ones that always crack me up because you're right. You absolutely know specifically.
There was one guy.
It was one time one thing, and they're like, okay, this is going to be for everybody now.
All right, I'm doing a lot of conceptual stuff today, but I love it. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about if you had to buy a present for, let's say the Queen of England.
No pressure there
for
at
her
all.
For her birthday. No, this was Christmas. And
what do you get?
What you get the
Queen of England? Because she has like a lot of things
she has
already.
Everything, doesn't she?
Including countries. So really,
she has countries, and yeah. So it can't be like serious, can it? Wedgwood. She owns it. She owns jewelry and glass in China, where from like 800 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Because she has the jewels. Not the family jewels, but they are the family jewels, aren't they?
Literally do have the family jewels.
She's got a crown.
In a big case.
She's got a crown and a scepter and all of that. I don't think that's like Harry Potter. But she has all this stuff. And the woman I love is Meghan Markle's, who is
Meghan Markle. She's marrying Prince Harry. First big holiday, and they had the picture. They had the family picture of all of them on the gigantic balcony.
Adorable.
Look how cute she is. They really are darling.
So,
but no pressure. What do you get your potential mother-in-law?
So, she thought about it, and she had to think about it. And finally, she made her choice. Here we are, by the big tree. She owns a big tree, around the fireplace with the entire family, and then they're German descent, so they open it on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And so they sat there, and the Queen takes the package, and she opens it up, and what does she find? She finds a singing hamster. It's a plush toy.
She bought her a singing hamster.
The crowd, the family goes quiet, goes silent. And she picks it up, and she squeezes it, and it starts going and singing, right? She breaks into laughter. She lost it. And Megan's like,
oh, thank God. Yeah, really.
I'm not going to the torture chamber. I'm not going to the pit of despair.
Inexpressible relief. Yeah, right.
And everyone cracks up because she was literally just going nuts.
Because this is a woman you're pretty sure has seen everything in the world.
And the reason she laughs so hard is Corgis, the dog, she has like 10. Always has. They fly with her on planes. They go everywhere with her.
Those Corgis are better traveled than any of us ever will be.
They run like a wild herd through the palace, and she throws it to the dogs, and the dogs all like, and they run around, and she laughs and laughs and laughs.
Way to go, Megan.
Right?
Proud of you.
That is so cool.
Represent
What?
America.
Guts,
Nice, proud of you, dear.
commitment, guts,
The singing hamster.
singing hamster.
Who knew the singing hamster would be the culture?
Busts up the queen. That is so funny.
Oh, speaking of British, we should go to our darling Daisy.
Oh, we
our
should,
favorite
shall we?
British expatriate. She's right now in the Gephardt Daily newsroom. She is brought to you by Denali Performance Medical Center. And look, this is the place you go when you want to get rid of your miserable joint injuries and your migraines. They can do it for you without opiates. It's amazing. Also by Black Friday, always Black Friday, in fact, my new favorite store. It's right up in Ogden, super easy to get to, but they have an unbelievable amount of incredible stuff for 30 to 75% off every day. And of course, All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They have a winter special right now to make sure that your heater is running at peak efficiency. Go to allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on today?
Good morning, everyone. Here's what's making news on Wednesday, January 10th on GephartDaily.com. A former BYU football player was killed in a head-on car crash in California Sunday. 29-year-old Ryan Folsom was a running back for the BYU Cougars in 2007 and 2010 through 11. Police say Folsom was driving on Interstate 5 near Redding, California at the time of the crash. His 74-yard run against Colorado State in 2010 is the 8th longest in school history. BYU football tweeted Monday that the team's thoughts and prayers were with the Folsom family. Police have released the name of the man who died after being struck by a Ford Mustang near 8000 South and 300 East late Monday night. 23-year-old Sandy resident Jordan Hughley was killed after being hit by a 15-year-old driver who only had his learner's permit. Police say Hughley was not in a crosswalk at the time of the accident. The police investigation is ongoing. And the Salt Lake County Health Department has issued a warning about possible exposure to hepatitis A at a Sonic Drive-In and Olive Garden in Spanish Fork. Anyone who consumed food or beverages or used a restroom at the Sonic Drive-In at 971 North Main Street in Spanish Fork on Saturday, December 23rd, through Sunday, December 24th, or the Olive Garden at 1092 North Canyon Creek Parkway in Spanish Fork on Thursday, December 21st through Saturday, December 30th, could be at risk of infection. If you think you were exposed at either location, call the health department. And time now for your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by our Rock'em Sock'em sponsors at Brio Technologies, Utah's tip-top audiovisual specialists. The temperatures may be on the mild side today, but that's not stopping Mother Nature from bringing a touch of winter to the Beehive State. Expect a mix of both rain and snow as another storm front moves across the state, which will be heavy at times in the upper elevations. The sunshine returns Thursday, but the temperatures stay in the low 40s during daylight and in the 20s at night. That's it for now. For more news and weather 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com.
All right, thank you, Daisy, very much. This just in, information from All Utah Plumbing. You can actually get a free furnace. This is how it's working. If you get AC and a furnace, they're going to save $2,000 on the package. Plus, they're going to throw in a free air scrubber. Makes sense, right? For Utah, makes a lot of sense for Utah.
Especially
and
the immersion.
we save $3,200, and you get your furnace free. If you want more information, go to allutahplumbing.com.
And of course, the cruelest prank ever. We usually call this Tell Me Something Good, but this is Tell Me Something Evil this time, and I like it even better.
All right.
It's brought to you by Always Black Friday. Of course, they've got their brand new store up in Ogden right now.
I saw them on Facebook yesterday. They're doing the Facebook Live things. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Opening the box.
Yeah, opening the boxes. Just go to their website. And it's just extra, but go to their website. You can see their entire inventory.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now, this is totally the cruelest thing ever. Dino, he's an Italian from Brooklyn, and his roommate was running through, and his roommate is notorious for not cleaning the way he's supposed to.
He's a pig.
Stop it, Mike.
Oh,
And,
up yours.
And his roommate went charging out because he had to go to school. And he says, "Hey, Dino, would you mind cleaning up? Because I'm bringing a girl back after my date."
Okay.
And so Dino's like, "Really? You suck." And he's like, "You're going to run off and you're going to leave me to clean up so that your date can show up."
Okay, all right, so.
So Dino cleaned up because he's a really nice guy. Because he's like that. And then, of course, he created a shrine. And he put it in
What do you
his
mean a
roommate.
shrine?
He put it in his roommate Tom's bedroom. He made the bed. and made it all pretty. And then he put out a shrine with a little vase of flowers, all these carefully framed
This
photos,
doesn't seem bad.
and a little scroll that says, Tom and Diana, lovers separated by time and circumstance. It was a shrine to Princess Diana, and then he lit all the candles, and then he left. And so when his roommate came back, and he's like, hey, come on into my room, we'll sit and talk and watch some Netflix. She walks in and she sees
It's creepy on so many levels.
this gigantic shrine to Princess Diana, and Dina was, I just sat and counted it down on the couch, and it was 5, 4, 3. And pretty much she suddenly remembered that she had to work early the next day. And then I'm guessing then the beating commenced, but it was funny. So he posted this on Twitter, and it's like, it went viral, and it was hysterical. So, approval ratings were running about 90% in his favor, especially after finding out he was supposed to clean up for somebody else's date.
You know that
you have to remember, you got to be careful what favor you ask of a roommate these days.
I think nowadays with social media, you've really got to step it up to have any impact whatsoever.
You have to be really, really diabolical.
I would like to start a trend right now, and if you're looking for, you can go on KSL, right, and you can buy a goat for $30. But if you rent a goat, you could rent a goat. They fit in the back seat of your car. You rent a goat for like $20 and put it in a friend's house. Hilarious.
For the goat,
They wake up, and there's a goat in their house.
It'd be better if the goat's in bed with them, with those little hooves arranged on the covers.
This is Utah, not Wyoming. Okay. Duh. It's lonely in Wyoming. We want to say thank you so much. A nice transition into Christopher's.
That was smooth.
Christopher's, where people eat food that is better than anywhere, and we want to thank you for watching because you're sticking with us, and we just appreciate that so much. So you and 3 friends can go down to Christopher's, have a beautiful meal, and all you have to do.
Just drop a comment on the show today. If you're watching us on Facebook on maybe Get Part Daily or Get Part Approved, just say, hey, if you're on the Todd and Erin page, joining in on the conversation. Once again, you can just mention that it all looks amazing, and sooner or later, one of you is going to be sitting down to a lovely ribeye this weekend, and it may as well be you. So
cool.
Comments all you need to enter, and then we draw on Friday every week.
We got the outdoor guy coming in, Tony
the funny
Abbott.
thing, I actually did ask a little poll. I said, are you guys tired of Christopher's Prime Steakhouse? Because we've been doing this for a while. Do you want another restaurant? And they're like, no. Stay with this one. No. I haven't won yet. Stay with Christopher's. So
coming up next, a guy who lives in the mountains in the wilderness more than he does in his own house.
He's
We're going
been
to talk
Easter
to him next.
Island.
He's coming up next.
The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by UtahCreditApproval.com. Bad things happen to good people, but you can get your credit back on track and get a reliable automobile by giving them a call. 801-404-7201. And also by Columbus Travel with spectacular deals on cruises and all-inclusive vacations. Go to ColumbusVacations.com. And All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where they have a winter special that they can check out your furnace and make sure that it's operating efficiently, saving you hundreds of dollars in energy bills. Just go to AllUtahPlumbing.com. Did you know that you can catch the Todd and Erin Morning Stream on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and GetPartDaily.com any time of the day or night? Here he is. This is so exciting. All right, Tony Abbott. This is amazing. Everybody already knows you because if they've not seen some of your adventures on social media, they probably have heard you on radio. You were at ESPN for a long, long time. You did a lot of fun stuff. But you have the coolest life that I can even begin to imagine. I'm not joking.
First of all, you're called outdoorsman. First of all,
no, he's big time outdoors
First of all,
guy.
can I say, it's like, you guys are iconic. To be here is like, wow.
Somebody paid
Seriously.
you.
My
Did
mom's
you pay him?
No, my mom does usually.
No, but I ain't kidding you guys. It's fantastic because I'm just a guy. I mean, I just go do my thing. You guys are like followed.
Now, here's why I love you the most, I think. It's
People
because-
chase you.
Yeah. No,
Bears.
Here's why I love you the most, though, because everybody in life is usually obsessed with collection. You collect items, you collect cars, and you collect stuff. And the people I've always admired most were the people who said, instead of spending my money on possessions, I want to spend it on experiences. And they spent it on their kids going on experiences, and they gave them like this life experience. And you took your daughter to freaking Easter Island last summer.
You
It
know
ain't
what?
Disneyland.
It ain't, and you know what? It might be the coolest place I've been. And when I say that, I've been a lot of places. You asked me before, you said, Tony, is there anywhere you haven't been? I go, I haven't been to Siberia yet.
That's
and you're
nice.
like, really?
Yeah.
And you had to think about it.
He had to think, like, where have I not been?
But you know what? Easter Island or Machu Picchu or
Right.
Mount Huasson. I'll tell you what, you guys, it's phenomenal.
So I want to talk about what's going on. It's the big outdoor expo. It's going on down in Provo. It's coming up in March 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
If it has to do with outdoors, it's going to be there.
It's everything outdoors.
Running,
biking, skiing, motorhomes, hunting,
guided
fishing,
trips everywhere.
works. Absolutely.
So the family, this is something for the family.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Boy Scouts have been a big part of it for a few years because that's kind of a big deal. They come in and do a big display. And
fun.
Scales and Tails, Utah, I got
Yeah,
7-foot alligators,
yeah.
20-foot snakes. I got videos of them choking me out. Yeah.
So the kids are going to have fun.
I like the big snakes
That
too.
costs
That's really
extra,
cool.
by the way.
It costs extra to get
Choking
choked
you.
out.
Who are usually your most popular people? Because you've been doing this now for a few years. Who do people get excited to see who's coming back?
Well, Scales and Tails is a huge hit because
they're
it's
so
such a
much fun.
family
Family,
oriented.
right.
I'll tell you what, I have a gal that dresses up like some of the Disney characters.
Oh,
Last
fun.
year she was Elsa, and she face painted for all the kids.
Aw.
I've got a magician that comes, and it's not so much the tricks he does, but he'll tie animals in these balloons.
Right.
Every kid can walk, and I don't charge for that. You get in.
So it's a family's gonna have
12 and
fun.
under is free.
Oh,
if you have
wow.
a kid, if you're
That is
12
really
or
nice.
under, it's absolutely free.
Now, I want to talk about the fact that you've got all your regular people. And
Yes.
You've got the people
vendors that have been
you've
there
known
for
forever.
every year.
Okay.
Yes.
And now you have some open ones and maybe some spots for local people if you have a business. Has to do with being creative and adventurous.
Well, I
and
was even
things.
thinking, Tony mentioned that somebody who builds fire pits, and I went, that's totally logical.
That's totally
You-
makes sense.
Absolutely, they come out and they want to have a nice swing set out back, and they want to decorate it with pavers and
Right.
have this fire pit and whatever the case may be. Here's the deal: I'm to the stage now. We sell out every year. Okay, about 220 vendors. We had to move from
Wow.
Provo Convention Center. We're now at UVU. We're
Right.
at the basketball facility, UCCU
Nice.
Center. So we have the whole basketball floor. We have the 2 upper floors. And now
Oh,
I get
wow.
to the point where I'm a little picky who I take. And so I went back and I've handpicked I think I got about 70 or 80 booths that I put in. I've just opened it up to the general public.
Okay.
You guys are like, Tony, come on, let's talk about this.
Right.
A little
That's so
charity
cool.
my way. Thank you,
no,
thank you,
no,
thank
no,
you.
no, no. That's so cool, though.
And I want to get people there, and booths are just cheap. You know, as far as that goes, I've made it so anyone can afford it. A mom and pop shop,
Right.
as big
I
as
like that.
Cabela's, as little as if Todd and Aaron wants to come down and say,
We're
hey,
pretty
give us
small.
a quarter.
Right.
No, but you see my
It's true.
point? And so
No.
you can come down there and you can get a booth for as little as $400
Okay.
and as much as $600.
You know what's great about this? The fact that it's going to be March, and hey, it's March. Let's go.
We're finally getting
let's
excited,
Let's
yeah.
go. Nothing.
Well-
let's go do nothing because it's March when you could be planning your summer.
Outfit your next adventure.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is. I've always said there's two types of people. There's people that do and don't. So what we do in
Good
life
point.
and what we don't do in life.
Right.
There's a lot of people that says, I want to, I wish I could, I
Right.
should have, I will later.
Right.
I'm like, no. If you wait till you have the money, you won't have the health.
And you've talked about that too
Yes.
before, where you've taken people on guided tours and they weren't in any kind of physical condition to really enjoy it. And it's like by then it's like, oh, where did you? That's why I think the
You
experience.
should have been
thing's so
here 10
important.
years ago.
No, it's the
Right.
truth.
But that's why it matters to me. I don't want to die before I gave my kids these experiences. You know that you saw all these places, you did these things.
And can I tell you, it doesn't matter male or female, old or young,
Right.
race, religion, even health size. I want to just get people
You can
out there and
work
do what I
them.
do.
Yeah.
I love the outdoors. I
Right.
feel like, Aaron, Todd, this is no lie.
Right.
And I say it humbly. I feel like I've lived the life of 100 men
Oh, I
because
believe it.
of everything I've been able to do.
Right.
And you made a great point. It's not what I accumulate, it's the memories I make. And whether it's
Right.
my kids going with me,
Mm-hmm.
my wife going with me, a single mom, a
Right.
divorcee, a widower, it doesn't matter. I just want people to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, and that's what the Big Outdoors Expo is.
And
That's
you know,
gonna be fun.
personally, also, it's just like if you've trailed off. I mean, we spent every second weekend either down fishing at Lake Powell or ice fishing
Up in
or
the mountains,
hiking
yeah.
or doing something. Not so much now. Not so much. And it's like, that's a reminder.
Hey,
to
quit being a
get back
fuddy
out.
duddy. I know Erin
Right?
wants to do
I
it.
know.
That's right. This is what the outdoor show is for, though. I think because it gets you excited again, and you're like, maybe you're not an expert and you're intimidated. The fact that you've got all these different options where you're like, oh, I could do that.
Find something.
Yeah,
Right.
Find
exactly.
something you want to do, and you know what? We should have it there.
All right. So
Okay.
we got the show coming up on March
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th.
You're going to be back before then to tell us more, and you usually have
I
cool
think
stuff
you're
to
going
give
to get
away.
tired of me, Aaron.
Never.
We're already tired of you.
Whoa!
Where do they contact
Hey, you know what I do for a living, right? I skin things.
Don't
I
embalm
chase
him
bears.
Yet. Don't embalm him yet, please. Where can they get information if they want to be offended?
TheBigOutdoors.com. You can get on that. And
TheBigOutdoors.com.
TheBigOutdoors.com. If you get on that, and you know what? As I'm coming back to you guys, because I think I'm going to see you a little more regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Until you get tired of me.
More
We can
pictures.
give out my phone number. We can do whatever. I'm around. I got 2 months to make this happen. You know, there's a big show that goes on in Salt Lake. Well, I started that 12 years ago. Now I'm doing one down here in Orem.
Yeah,
and
the
I'll
first
tell you
time wasn't exhausting enough. You're like, yeah. And you're talking about, we'll have like 15,000 this year. And I'm like, okay, I've got to go sit down. I'm tired.
Tony, thanks so much.
You guys are the best.
All right.
Seriously, like, who do I pay to get on here to hang out with you?
This is going to be so
Us.
much fun. I'm
Us
so excited.
directly.
Ah, thanks,
All right,
guys.
we're going to be back, and the guy breaks into a police station. We're going to find out what that is all about, and that's coming up next.
At Always Black Friday, we love a good deal. We buy new and used products at a discount so we can pass on the savings to you. And we're Gephardt approved. From electronics to clothing to appliances. If you want it, we have it at discount prices. Visit our eBay store or come to our warehouse at 865 West 12th Street in Ogden. Always Black Friday, where you can find Black Friday deals all year round.
You have that right. I am so confused by this story. You know, sometimes
Because it's
Erin
creepy.
finds stories, I find stories, and a lot of times, well, because we just don't like each other, we don't talk a lot about the stories. And so we show up like right now, and I have no idea what this story is about, but it's really confusing.
Well, the Epiphany celebrations, this is a really big thing down in South America, and it's part of, like a cool religious experience, and it celebrates those things. And this one is in Portuguese, in Portugal, and I'm really confused about it because part of the celebration is parents encouraging children as young as 5 to smoke cigarettes. Now, locals say the practice...
As old as what? Young as...
As young as 5.
Okay.
Locals say the practice has been passed down for centuries as part of the celebration of life,
Right.
which seems perverse.
Oh, that just
Tied to
seems wrong.
Tied to the Christian Epiphany and the winter solstice. But no one is sure what it symbolizes exactly or why parents buy the packs of cigarettes for their children and then encourage them to take part.
Do they
I'm
give...
not
They
sure
don't
what
give
that
them the
has
whole
to-
pack. They just have them puff once or something, don't they?
So the 2-day celebration starts this Friday and ends Saturday with a mass. It has dancing around bonfires and a piper playing music.
Sounds cool.
The elected king who distributes plentiful wine and snacks and apparently packs of cigarettes.
Sounds fun.
Now, the legal age to purchase tobacco in Portugal is logical. It's the 18.
Right.
But no one prohibits the parents from giving the kids cigarettes, and authorities don't intervene. One of the moms says, I can't explain why, but I can't really see any harm in it because they just smoke once a year. And then they don't ask us for cigarettes after that. And I'm like,
I don't think
yeah,
it's
they
like,
just go get
I
them
think
from
they
their
puff
friends.
on one cigarette and it's over and they put it out. They don't get a pack of cigarettes.
And it's only on these days, today and tomorrow. But I'm trying to figure out how this came from the Christian celebration and the winter solstice.
There's other cultures where spirits, alcohol, is taken and spit and blown onto different things, statues and stuff like that. And smoke is used as well.
Man, I'd hate to be the statue. Can you imagine? What are you doing?
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's just differences. But, yeah, that's a little...
I'm
That's a
not
little
really
odd.
sure I want to get my kids
little
attached to
odd.
cigarettes that early. Well, not ever, of course, but even at 5
That
seems a little-
early.
Seems
Yes.
troubling, but okay. So there you go. Happiest celebration ever. All right. Do you want to hear about the worst marketing idea ever? And let's
Yeah, I'm gonna
let's
tell
go.
you about
Let's
this.
go back to this because if you
gonna tell you about
you may
this.
remember this ad and it disappeared extremely quickly. But McDonald's at one point was introducing a new chicken sandwich, and the way they introduced it, and I'm thinking, do you not have anyone in your ad agency who has any understanding of modern culture?
Yeah.
But they had this attractive African American male, and he's looking at this sandwich, going like this, kind of slitted eyed. And he's like, "Hey, it's a new chicken sandwich. I'd hit that."
Well, there's a term.
And-
That's a term used for other things.
And you sit there and wonder, was there anyone anywhere in this process that went, "You're going to use that phrase? Are you sure you want to use that phrase
So-
involving a chicken sandwich?"
So this brings us to H&M, the clothing store. They made an apology, and in their catalog, they basically have a new hoodie, and the hoodie says, what does it say? It says,
Coolest monkey in the jungle.
okay, now they used an African American kid on this, And see, for me,
Yeah.
it's used as a bad word. A lot of people, it's got a history. The word monkey has had a terrible history with the African American culture, and I haven't been exposed to that myself. As far as no one I know, even the bad people I've been around have not used that reference. But they immediately apologized and pulled the ad.
But once again, wasn't there anyone anywhere on that set
someone
that
knew.
That seems like a really
Right.
bad idea.
Now, if you remember who Howard Cosell is, Howard Cosell, and he did all the fights with Ali, and he did all these different things.
Did he do the Olympics for a while too?
He did everything. He was like the Mr. Sports, and his career was ended by a reference to this, and the reference is that he was covering a football game.
No, it was distance runners, as I recall, right?
No, it was football,
Okay.
and the guy broke away with the ball, and he's running towards the end zone, and he says, "Look at that monkey run." Now, what came out was
I know.
his son came out, and he said, "My dad used to call all us and our grandkids the crazy monkeys."
Well, I
because
call
they
my
were
kids
kids
little monkeys.
and they were running around.
Yeah.
But at that time, especially that time in the early 70s, everyone knew what it meant. And they used that and got him out of his job.
That ended his career, yeah.
It really did. And so, yes, it's a bad thing. And yes, they apologize. And yes, they're taking it out. And yes, they didn't have anybody who could have seen it. This could have been offensive to any part of the
And it's
culture.
just, yeah, the use of the model and especially as
wrong.
a child, and it's, yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we're moving on now, but they did apologize, and that was probably really wise, and I hope they remember that next time.
You know,
That would be
every
nice.
time you hear something like this, I always think of the boardroom, and I always think of someone making the pitch, and they're saying, "We got it,"
This is gonna be so cute.
and it's a bunch of people who are out of touch with society. They don't know what they're doing, and they listen to the idea, and they go, "By golly, that's great," and they don't run it by anybody else. This is like the people who end up on the talent show American Idol who can't sing because they haven't sampled their voice to friends enough. When the friends
Or
would
their
say,
friends didn't say anything to them.
"You sound like a cow. Do not sing." They don't have any friends.
Or at least not apparently that yeah, are willing to tell you. This is really bizarre. Now, I would first laugh at this, but I can't because I'm already addicted to my cell phone, and you
Really?
and I both know it.
Really?
So, no.
What did you point out this morning when we were on our way to work about Pokemon?
You know, it was really cool. Pokemon's up. Their new version has the weather on it, and it shows the weather while you're running through the field. So today, my girl was running through the field catching Pokemon, and it was raining. It was really nice. No, this is how bad it got for me. There was one
That's
time.
enthralling.
There was one time that we all got in the car and we were going down to like 90th South or something to see a movie, and I forgot my phone and I started shaking. Todd looked at me and goes, "Are we going to have to turn around?" And I went, "No, we don't want to miss the movie. Zach's been looking forward to this." And I sat through the whole movie like this going, "I don't have my phone." So I get it's addiction. I totally get it.
We drive places, and she wants to play Pokemon. There's many other addictions she has on her phone. But she tells me to slow down to 20 miles an hour so she can play.
Well, you're going towards a stoplight
and
anyway.
it's a 45-mile zone.
Whatever. It's interesting, though, but they're talking right now, though, Apple's starting to examine this phenomena because they've had so many people talk about children and phone addiction. And they're calling it the growing societal unease. And these
Wow,
are,
that's a title.
I know, right? And these are investors that have $2 billion in Apple shares. So there are people who like.
Oh, investors are raising the concern.
Yeah, activist investors, California State Teachers Retirement System, they are all investors into this, and they're asking Apple to create ways for parents to control
Like how?
children's access to their mobile phones.
Like-
And they also want the company to study the impact of cell phone addiction on children's mental health. And if you, I mean,
It's same as gaming, it wouldn't it? It would be the
Yeah.
same as gaming in the basement.
Yeah.
And doing the war games and
Yeah.
stuff.
And so it's interesting. So they're already starting to go through this, and they're going, this is kind of a problem that, you know, most companies would be like, that's great. It's a problem where no one can stop buying my product.
Mm-hmm.
But Apple's getting enough pressure now that they're actually having to start looking at, number one, parental controls, and number two, an actual study.
It's not going to affect Apple in any way. It's going to affect the carriers, right?
Yeah.
Because
think
Apple's
so.
going to make the same, and they'll throw a couple apps on which the kid will get around anyway. But it just seems weird.
Well, it's,
You know when the
it's-
phone comes in handy for me? It comes in handy when I'm sitting at the DMV. It comes in handy when I'm waiting on someone, when I'm waiting for something to happen. But I see other people who are just,
Well, for instance, in France, they're banning the use of smartphones in primary middle schools. Like, you cannot have it out of your locker, banning. And I mean, even if I go to Zoe's class because I help out with math a couple of times a week, and there's 6-year-olds who pull out a phone and they're working on it when I come over to go, hey, you finished this math part, if you got this done, and they're on their phone. I'm like, dude, put it back in your desk. I mean, 6 years old. So it's going to be interesting to see, but they've got a lot of international movement right now where they're really unhappy about it. So they're starting to say, you're going to have to start creating parental controls that go with this.
Right.
Or they'll lock it down, or they'll knock the kid out of something
Right.
if they've been on long, a certain amount of time. So that's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
I want to get one of those blockers.
Blockers, what are those?
You know, you can turn the machine on, and it puts everybody offline. You cannot use your phone.
That would be the worst thing in the world you could ever do.
I want to do it for like Thanksgiving and Christmas when the family comes over, and you got a bunch of the nieces. Not so much now because they're getting older, and they start going into their phones like this, and that's not what it's about.
You know, on holiday
So
dinners,
you turn
though,
it on.
a lot
Cell
of
service
families,
goes off.
a lot of families have the practice where they all have to throw their cell phones into a basket.
See, I do it in a bucket of water. Yeah.
We don't really have that problem for holidays.
Crazy Uncle Todd.
But no, if you got a blocker, I would set it on fire.
Well, you're not going to know if
I
we
will,
do. You
because-
think your phone is broken.
No, I would find it and I would kill you. You're a horrible person.
I am. Police in Provo are kind of wondering what the heck just happened to him.
I love this guy. You wait till you see his mugshot, and I think you'll understand that he thought this was a reasonable thing to do.
Well, let's show that mugshot, shall we? And then we'll fill in the story.
What?
Whoop! He looks surprised. Hello.
Look at that face. What?
All right. He's
Okay.
not actually a criminal. He's not. He's not actually a criminal. So he
Not
goes
bright,
down.
but
He
not a
goes down
criminal.
to the Provo Police Department, walks in, and he goes, "I want to get my bike." It's in the evidence room. It's a caged-in area, and for this case, it would be outside because he wants his bike back. And see, he didn't do anything wrong. Someone stole it. It was part of a crime, so they took the bike as part of the evidence and locked it up. Now he had a couple choices here. Well, didn't have a couple choices. He had
It wasn't
one choice.
available at the time, right?
He had to wait until it was processed, and then he'd get it back. The cop went and asked a question, who was working the desk. He comes back, and they're gone. Oh, where'd they go? I don't know. So basically what happened...
He broke into the evidence room and took his own bike.
Okay. So let's
Seriously.
go through this. Let's go through this. 80 pounds of cocaine. Machine guns. Marijuana. Handguns. Widescreen TVs.
Bloody
Everything.
knife.
Everything is there. And he takes his own bike, I think, which is admirable. So they busted him and put him in jail for burglary. Let's see that face again.
The look of genuine surprise. This is the
You gotta
expression of a
kind-
man who did not think things
You
through.
kind of have to respect a certain part of him.
Really?
He's not patient. We know that. Number two, he didn't take the drugs or the guns. He took what he owns, even though, well, now he's in trouble.
Yeah.
And he can't ride his bike.
All right, coming up next in Hollywood Connection, Lana Del Rey is getting sued, and you'll never believe
I
by
don't
who.
even know who that is.
And the best part, and I've got an actor who was at the Golden Globes, and in his thank you speech, he managed to mention not only his wife but also his girlfriend.
Ah!
I'll
Next.
tell you next. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you'll find out that you can get a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600. Fink and McGregor, also by the Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, you can schedule an appointment and find out some amazing options for pain-free removal of varicose veins and spider veins. Your legs can look great again with the Vein Clinic. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. They also have a brand new store up in Ogden now. If you'd like to reach them, you can go to blackdiamondexperts.com. Clinic, and one of the reasons I was excited about it is I was just talking to John last night, who is the doctor who worked on me. I'm a factory of varicose veins. It just runs in my family.
Ew.
I had them start. My first
Ow.
one stripped when I was 24.
Oh, let's see him.
So I'm about as sad as you
Ow.
can get. So I
Ow.
had my first treatment there. It was not only pain-free, but it was the fastest recovery I've ever seen. I was up and walking
Shall we?
that day, and you could see the difference within literally a day. But it's nice to know that I am not the only one. And this is another really happy patient from the vein clinic. I think you'll like the story.
I'm 37, and I have 5 children, all of which are girls. My husband and I have been married for 19 years now, and I work at a dental office. I noticed a problem when I was pregnant with my second child. It started out very small, just on my ankle, but the problem just continually got worse. It affected my lifestyle because I didn't want to do anything. I was in too much pain. I just wanted to lay around so I wasn't in pain. So cooking dinner, I didn't want to stand there in the kitchen and cook dinner. I didn't want to go for walks with my kids. Chasing a toddler was not fun at all. If you can imagine an old lady's very purple, black and blue looking legs with ropey veins, that was my legs. I did have a procedure done somewhere else. In fact, I had 3 surgeries done somewhere else. And I was not impressed. And so I thought, I'll give him a chance. I'll go see the surgeon. I was supposed to see him next. But I should have listened to my gut and walked away at that point. I was already looking for somewhere else, and I work close to the vein clinic, and I saw that they were just opening. My first visit was so night and day from where I'd been before. It's very new, very nice. It felt like it was very clean. The way the whole staff is there, I felt like I was just an old friend. They made me feel very comfortable. So they did radio frequency ablation and also foam sclerotherapy. The length of the procedure was actually a lot shorter at their office for me. It was probably about 20-30 minutes. Everybody knew what was going on, and if I had questions, they would answer them multiple times if needed, because sometimes you don't get it the first time. The biggest thing that sticks out to me is how kind they were. They genuinely care about me as a person, as a patient, and that was really nice to see. For the first time in as long as I can remember, we went on a family vacation. There was a pool there, and I got in a swimming suit and did not worry about my legs. It was really nice, actually. Definitely boosted my self-esteem, because when you're not trying to hide yourself all the time, you can have a little more confidence at the swimming pool or even at a party where you want to wear a cute skirt. I know that's not a big thing to most people, but people with varicose veins would know that being able to wear just something up to your knees is pretty cool.
So Jeff, you do mortgages, right?
I do.
How do you do?
Well, you go to our website, 4minutemortgage.com, fill out the application. We'll call you within 1 business day. The whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
We went to the bank.
They got really personal.
I went through all of our personal records and all of our finances.
And then there was that little deal about the $8,000 closing costs.
Took like 4 months.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right, welcome back to the Todd and Erin morning stream on GetBarDaily.com.
Of course, we are brought to you. Hollywood Connection is brought to you by Connect Heating and Air. No big surprise there. That's UtahHeatingandCooling.com. Free quotes, 24 hours service. They are on time, and they even have financing available. Once again, UtahHeatingandCooling.com. So get this, Ewan McGregor.
Hollywood.
Ewan McGregor is one of my favorite
I
Scottish
like him.
actors.
From what
Started in Trainspotting, it's been on from there.
the big one where he's lost.
He was in
Big
Moulin
Fish.
Rouge.
Big Fish.
Oh, Big Fish is
Oh
good.
yeah, Moulin Rouge.
Uh-huh. Well, he was at the Golden Globes on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he won for Best Actor. This was for the I'm trying to remember which specific one it was. Best Actor in a Limited Series.
Okay.
So he's standing out there. He's got his trophy, and he said, "I want to take a moment to thank Eve, who stood by me for 22 years.
It's his
4
wife.
children.
It's his wife.
It's his wife." And then as he's going on, he goes, "Also, there would be no Ray without Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And I love you, woman. I think you're beautiful."
And who's that?
That's apparently his new girlfriend and his co-star in the series. They were spotted kissing, the last few months, and that was one of the reasons, I guess, that he and his wife are now estranged. But I'm not sure whether that's a time-saving method or just a guarantee that no one will ever love him again, because it seemed to me to be a very uncomfortable decision to make.
Yeah, and plus, who's a big enough idiot to fall in love with someone they work with, right?
Can you imagine being dumb enough to get your paycheck from the same? Oh.
Oh. What about this other person, Del Rey?
Lana Del Rey, who I adore. How can you not say you don't know Lana Del Rey?
Do we have?
No, she's loungy and beautiful and fabulous.
Yeah.
Apparently, she's also getting sued.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
She's got legs.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She really is. And she's also getting sued. She was at the MTV European Music Awards, apparently, when she found out that the British band Radiohead is suing her over plagiarism claim.
Why?
They're saying that her song Get Free is too close to their hit Creep. Creep is actually, I think, Radiohead's biggest song ever. And she said, yes, true about the lawsuit. She said, I know my song wasn't inspired by Creep. Radiohead feels it was and wants 100% of my publishing. She said, I'd even offered them 40% just to end this.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no, they want it all.
So
that should be interesting.
I'm always amazed when the people, what's a good example? Oh, Huey Lewis in the News, want a new drug.
Mm-hmm.
And Ghostbusters, because it has that bass line.
The bass line's identical, yeah.
And it is kind of, but there's like a little dirt at the end that's different.
Not much, no.
But they won the suit.
Huey Lewis did, yeah.
Yeah, and so...
There's very specific markers when it comes to copyright claims, especially on music with plagiarism. There's very specific markers that a judge and jury look at. And it really isn't that hard. If it fits into the parameters of what they're saying, an attorney had to have a really good excuse. And sometimes I think people, in any field, might be inspired by something without knowing it. Maybe they've heard something, and then it clicks into another. We've talked about comics before about this. You said that Robin Williams, that comics used to refuse to go on before him because they claimed he would steal their stuff.
He was a sponge. He would just grab stuff and hold it, and people at the beginning, and they didn't have a chance of being popular anyway, but that would kind of happen.
It still hurts to hear your joke coming out of Robin Williams' mouth.
And it's funnier. But when you plagiarism, when it's a written word, it's just like, here's number A, here's A, and here's B. They're the same. But music, it's like you're sitting at a piano, it's 2 a.m, and you're just playing and you're coming up with stuff and you're being inspired. That's just weird to me.
I know.
And plus, most pop songs.
Lana Del Rey is so adorable too.
Most pop songs are made up of 4 chords.
We've talked about this before.
It's a great video. Look it up. Look up Google and say pop songs 4 chords, and it's amazing.
They run through, I think it's like 25 songs within 2.5 minutes, and you can hear it each time. It's very funny.
And yeah.
All right, Daisy is in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom, so we have got to go to her. She's brought to you by Fink & McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. Our dear friend Jeff, if you go to fink-mcgregor.com, can give you a myriad of options for mortgages. You can get one with a credit score as low as 600, by the way. Also by the Vein Clinic. I just told you about how amazing they are. Go to theveinclinic.com and get an appointment for the Riverton location. Go in and see all the options. Your legs can finally look your age again instead of 20 years older. And by Black Diamond Experts. They are your experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. You'll be glad you called an expert. BlackDiamondExpert.com. Daisy, my darling, what is going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Here's what's making national and world news headlines for Wednesday, January 10th on Gephardt Daily. Donald Trump on Tuesday said he wants to sign a bill of love that will protect young immigrants under the Deferred Act for Childhood Arrivals program, while also heightening security along the southern U.S. border. Trump met with 15 Republicans and 10 Democrats at the White House Tuesday, urging them to find a bipartisan path for moving forward. After about 1 hour in front of the news cameras, they went into closed session where both parties agreed to negotiate. Former presidential advisor Steve Bannon is stepping down from his role as executive chairman of Breitbart, the conservative site announced Tuesday. Bannon was a founding member of the site, and when founder Andrew Breitbart died in 2012, Bannon became executive chair of the company. The company said it would work to plan a smooth and orderly transition. The statement declined to offer a reason for Bannon's departure. And at least 13 people have died as a result of heavy rains that triggered flooding and mudslides in fire-ravaged parts of Southern California. The rainstorm deteriorated south-facing slopes, flooded a creek leading to the ocean, sending mud and massive boulders coursing through Montecito neighborhoods recently ravaged by the Thomas Fire. In addition to the 13 deaths, at least 25 people were injured. Crews rescued 50 people through the air and dozens more by ground. Time now for a look at your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by our sponsors at Brio Technologies, home to Utah's top audio-visual specialists. A fast-moving storm is dumping snow and rain in the higher elevations, while daytime temperatures hover in the mid-40s. Lows will be in the 20s. We dry out Thursday before another storm front blows through the state Friday. That's it for now. For more news from across the nation and around the world, go to gephartdaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, my dear Daisy. All right, Black Diamond Experts, I was telling you about them earlier. One of the nice things about them is that they are 24-hour service, and that's 7 days a week. So if there's an emergency, they're the guys who jump into one of their trusty trucks and drive up and down. You can see them at all hours of the day and night on I-15, which always cracks me up, so I wave at them like, I'm sorry. Probably another fun one, but it's nice to see you're out and you're doing something and taking care of it. And one of the reasons people call them a lot is because they're kind of on that list of your guys. You know, you get guys you trust and you know that you can count on them for stuff. They're also the ones that when they do come into your home, they pretty much know everything. It's electric, plumbing, heating, and air. I mean, they can fix everything. They can install everything. They can swap out everything. And the nice thing is they'll do it without any surprise last-minute extra fees, which makes me insane every time I get a bill like that. It's going to be what they quoted you. So just go to blackdiamondexpert.com and get more information. All right, here's the weirdest thing that's become cool again.
First of all, I'm the most brilliant man in North America. It doesn't happen often. We were moving, which is, so fun. If you have to, just burn your stuff.
We lived in that house for 20 years. You can imagine.
In the attic, in the hardest place to reach, there is a box. It weighs 40 pounds, and it's full of Erin's past. And she goes, well, just throw it out. And I went, oh, no. And it is full. 40 pounds of cassette tapes are in that box. Your life of music, your soul, songs that led you through your adolescence and junk.
It sounds so pretty when you say it like that.
Well, you just like, and one of her players, too, that go on your belt. It's this big.
Do you remember them? The first Walkman, the big clunky Walkman. I thought that was the greatest thing in the history of the world.
It is, but they're huge and they weigh 8 pounds. So what's the deal?
Weightlifting when
What's the deal? Because I know you know about Gray Whale here in town, and I don't know how their business is doing because they sell DVDs and music CDs and stuff like that.
Cassette tapes are a thing now. They have actually come back into vogue, which just astonishes me. And this is what I mean when I talk about the fact they've come back into vogue. They're insane, and they actually are saying a lot of this might be because of the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks, because Gunn, who the director, is huge into 70s and early 80s music, and so he did all the imaging as one of the cheesy like mixtapes, the cassette tapes. And so all three of the soundtracks from Guardian of the Galaxy 1 and then also Volume 2 are the top sellers. Some of the other ones are going to surprise you, though, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of sales of cassette tapes. The soundtrack from Stranger Things, Eminem, Kanye West, and this is a weird one. This sold over 200,000. Prince and the Revolution. Isn't that interesting? Purple Rain.
Purple Rain
The
is
Purple
old
Rain
enough
soundtrack.
that you would have had
The original cassette tape.
Right.
But it's back.
And now the sale of things to play them on, much like record players,
Yeah.
turntables, took off. Companies actually started making the stylus again.
Mm-hmm.
And what they like about it, a lot of people like about it, the people who are into this, like the scratch, like the click, like the music that comes out.
They
as
don't want
opposed
as
to be
smooth, yeah.
digital purity. They like the sound.
Oh, but it's funny. I remember those cassette tapes because I would run. I mean, at one point I was running 20 miles a day, and so I would have extra cassette tapes like in my sweatshirt pocket or something, and they would shake and then they would tangle, and you had to learn how to detangle them.
Pencil, remember? Pencil fit perfectly in the things you could.
Oh, I got to the point where I could unscrew the tiny screws and take it off, and then like repatch it. I mean, so yeah, I'm sure of all those. I can't believe you kept those. Where are they? Like in the garage?
Yeah, they're in the garage. I saw them yesterday. I'm gonna go through and we're gonna sort some. We'll make a video of it. That's what we'll do because it's like it is. I'm gonna say, what's this song mean to you? And you're gonna go, oh, that was so and so, and I was doing this and doing that, or I was in radio back in whatever.
I feel so vulnerable. I don't know.
No, this will be awesome. So
yeah, for you.
So don't throw them out.
Isn't that interesting?
Fact, it might be.
They're a thing.
Might be interesting to go on eBay. Might be interesting to go on eBay and see what's out there and see how much.
Ooh, that's true.
And if you have a collection still, well, maybe. Especially if you have full sets, like every album.
Oh, yeah. And you're proud too because you'd have your little plastic cases and they'd all be lined up in order. You're like, yes, all of you are my children.
And I can still see Jethro Hull. I know I'm old.
Jethro Tull, you mean?
Him. All his cassettes were green. Revolutionary. Green cassettes.
All right, coming up in just a couple of minutes, The Big Bang Theory is ending.
Whoa.
And you know what? The cast is okay with it. We'll tell you about it next. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink & McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also, all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com.
Apply today.
And drive away.
I love that music.
That expression.
Oh my gosh, the music is perfect.
That expression of what?
Oh my gosh.
What do you mean?
All right, so anyway, that's a guy who stole the bike from the police. It was his bike.
His own bike, but he broke into the police station.
That's illegal.
Take it.
All right, so Big Bang Theory. I watched this when I can.
You love this dearly.
I do love it dearly, and I really love it because the Sheldon's girlfriend has a PhD, and she's got a series, and she puts out these things on Facebook.
Mayim Bialik?
Yeah.
We've interviewed her before, and she's amazing.
She's
like
so smart.
neurochemistry. You're like,
right.
Wow. And you know, the funny thing is, she went back into acting. She goes, I didn't have insurance. I'm like, what? You have a doctorate in neurochemistry, and you went back into acting for insurance.
And one of her things or cuts on people is like, she goes, I played the younger Bette Midler. Okay, so.
I love her.
And,
anyway.
and one of her things that she's just put out is why to call women women and not girls.
Oh.
And the way she articulates it is amazing.
Kaylee Cuoco, she's on this. She's the highest paid woman on television.
She's the blonde who lives across the way.
Which makes me very happy because it's always nice to see female leadership, and she's actually paid higher than the guys.
When you think it would
which
be
has got to be
Sheldon.
like the only time ever in the history of the world.
You think it would be Sheldon.
He's Jim Parsons. He's pretty good.
So funny.
He really is. In any case, Johnny Galecki was talking about it, and he said, yeah, season 12, they renewed it for the 2018-2019 season. And he said, you know where...
He looks like a normal adult.
They were all freaking out, all the reporters, and going, how could this be? Mm-hmm. And he said, we're okay with it. He said, we're all really tired. Mm-hmm. It's been 12 years. And he says, we're just starting to film the next season now, the 12th season. He said, we're already talking about the rap party. The party they have at the end of the season when they all like, yay, Another season, we survived. He said, this is something that was really interesting they mentioned, though. He's set to reprise his role as David Healy in an episode of Roseanne. Do you know that they're doing a revival of Roseanne?
Yes.
I mean, John Goodman's coming back, everybody.
Did you know the daughter has a show of her own, a radio show, and she's maintained that, and she's the one who kind of went, test the water, ask Dan,
Anyone interested in
ask
it?
Roseanne, and seeing if they would come back and do it.
That amazed me because Roseanne was at that point. She went, I have all the money in the world and I own Hawaii, or at least one of the smaller islands. I don't have to. But in any case, I'm not sure how this worked, but it was weird. Apparently, Big Bang wasn't thrilled about it. He said it's uncomfortable for me because obviously Big Bang is my home and my family, but I wouldn't have been on Big Bang if it hadn't been for Roseanne. So there were politics, but so he said both sides were a little prickly. So he was like, I'm Switzerland, I like you all.
And there is a thing about going out on top. There is a thing. Friends did
Big Bang, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Jerry Seinfeld did it.
Yeah, Seinfeld did it.
I mean, their numbers were still good, and they just went, you know what? I think we're done.
Well, it's interesting, too. Flight of the Conchords was the same way. They were the biggest show on HBO for 3 seasons. I mean, huge. And then
kind of cultish still, though.
And they still stopped. And everyone was like, well, no, but you're doing really good. They went, we haven't thought of anything funny to write it yet, so we're going to stop now.
Portlandia, same thing.
Yeah.
Portlandia, if you've seen it, kind of really quirky, and they just finally went, we're out of ideas.
I know, and I miss
it. To be
it.
honest, we won't be able to. They're going to do some more now, but it's like we don't want to put out something that's not good. You know, I mean,
it'd be nice to have that luxury, right?
Think of Happy Days. And there's the term they use is like jumping the shark tank. When they had Fonzie jump the shark tank.
And so now they say when you jump the shark,
it's so desperately grabbing to keep the thing going when it was over.
I don't want to. Are we at the point of jumping?
Oh, we were there years ago. If you're a big if you're a big fan of the Big Bang Theory, may I suggest you go on and you Google flash mob dance, Big Bang Theory.
Really?
And no one knew it in the audience. No one knew it as far as their producers and directors. And a lot of times in flash mobs, they put out a site that you go to and you learn the dance. So you never have to meet. And so all these people, and the dance starts off with a crew. And they start dancing. And all of a sudden they're all together and they're doing the moves. And that's great. And the cast is all standing in back by the couch. You know the couch. And they're just kind of watching. And all of a sudden, one by one, they join in. And until it's the whole crew, it's whole staff. And the audience just loses it.
That's so funny.
And the producer and the director's faces are just like,
we had no idea this was going to be happening here.
Anyway.
That's hysterical.
Stuff you don't know about.
All right, now that we've had something happy, let's tell you about something incredibly depressing.
I'm really scared about this.
Hepatitis A is ruthlessly contagious.
And now,
just like standing next to somebody who possibly might have it, you end up having it. It's really bad.
Can I do an example?
Sure, of course.
Okay, so hand me. Okay, so we have a marker. Okay, and you've been using the marker, and I'll say, hey, can I borrow the marker, please?
Oh, sure, here.
Oh, thanks very much. I have the marker. Daisy, come here for a second. Yeah. No, I just want you to have this marker.
Okay.
Okay. You
Thank
now have hepatitis A.
Oh, no.
I do too. She started it.
That's how easy it is.
That's how easy it is.
So easy.
Put your hands in your pockets always. Just walk around with your hands.
Just pick things up with your elbows.
Now I'm going to go to Starbucks and give it to everyone there.
Nice. Now serving hepatitis, macocino, or kataka. Yeah.
Now it started with the 7-Eleven, but there's more places now.
Spanish Fork.
2,000 7-Eleven customers were possibly exposed to hepatitis A here in Utah. Local health officials put it out, and people have been calling and freaking out, going, would that have been me? Because they've had so many problems.
And so basically, I was sitting there going, how did they find it? How did they find these people? And how do they know it came from this place? It's because I had salmonella, and when I went to the doctor, by law, she has to report me to the CDC of the state to say, where did you get it from?
Patient zero.
To take it down to a restaurant, perhaps. And they can go and check out there, and then they find out who else ate there and all this stuff. So that's what they've done. And it is that simple. And so at 7-Eleven, when the guy replaces the Slurpee cups, right, and he
Oh,
takes
I
them
kept
out
trying
of
to say from
takes them
Slurpee.
out of their wrapper, turns them around, and puts them in every cup that is touched, every food item, every box, every wrapper, every stocking the shelves, it's like walking into that store. If you had a black light and that worked with a black light, everywhere.
Well, now there's 2 places down in Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
This isn't horrifying in every possible way. If you ate, drank, or used the restroom at Sonic Drive-In or Olive Garden at Spanish Fork, they're asking you if you had visited Sonic on December 23rd or 24th, Merry Christmas, or Olive Garden from December 21st through the 30th, they need you to call the Utah County Health Department. They had an infected employee who was working at those locations at that time, and they're already receiving a phone call. They're receiving several phone calls from people who are sick and several doctors going, I've got 2 patients with hepatitis A. Have you heard anything?
Yeah.
So
It takes 15 to 50 days to appear. 15 to 15 days, and that means you can go out there and touch your family,
How many
your
other people?
car,
Yeah.
your work, your copier, your phone, your remote control. Am I scaring you? I should be. So to find out more about this, I'm trying to see the address of the original. It's in West Jordan.
Yeah, basically, if you just go to the Utah State Health Department, they will have all of the outbreak alerts there, and then you can click on the one that you think you might be involved in if you have been.
And what they'll do is they've got 264, I believe, people who have gotten injections, 256 people that they have given injections to stop this.
The nice thing is the vaccine is very effective.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is one thing that's really hopeful about it.
But
Tell me about this.
They
Tell me
blow
about
up.
this latest episode of arson. Accidental arson.
All right, we're going to play a game I like to call Guess What Happened Next. Erin, would you like to play?
I would love to play this.
I will give you a scenario.
I pick up that iPad because I think that's going to fall. That's a really precarious
it?
position.
Well, it's not ours,
So yeah, really.
right?
I know.
Anyway, here we go. Ready? We're going to play the game. Guess what happens next? All right.
That's
All right.
smooth, baby.
This happened in California. Any idea yet? There was a man.
Okay.
Any idea yet?
He sells oranges on street corners.
He saw a spider in his apartment. Guess what happens next?
He stomped on it and squished it.
He grabbed a lighter. Guess what happens next?
I'm guessing torched apartment.
Torched his apartment, $11,000 worth of damage, evacuated the entire building because he went after a spider. How many stories like this have you heard in the last year?
In his defense, it was a good-sized wolf spider, and he was quite frightened by it.
Harmless.
Wolf spiders, by the way, are completely harmless, and they get rid of a lot of insects. He managed to set the said wolf spider alight, and it ran through his apartment, setting each flammable surface alight.
So here's the problem. That's silly. Back east with the freezing temperatures, people have been taking torches and going to their water pipes. I've done it, but I just make sure I didn't light anything else on fire. And you don't. Anyway, I'm not going to give you the technique on this because
There's
you'll
nothing
do it.
sadder
and
than
your
a
house
house
will burn
fire
down.
in the middle of a polar vortex. I mean, that's pretty much just about as sad a combination as you can possibly have.
So, don't do it. Capture your spiders and put them outside. Or step on them or kill them with your thumb.
Oh, Todd will touch spiders. He'll squish them with his hands. It's disgusting.
It's my thumb.
No, but what if they're like poisonous?
I call this the thumb of death. I'm scared of other stuff, not spiders. They hate my thumb. So anyway, thanks so much
Do you really
for watching.
make that noise before you squish them?
Let's go through the impressions one more time. The iguana, the tick. What was the other one I did today?
Oh, there was another one today. What was it? Something.
I forget. Anyway,
They're all magnificent,
you
honey.
guys,
Every one of them.
You guys have a great day. We will be back tomorrow, unfortunately for you, and with the Todd and Erin morning stream right here at GephartDaily.com. Are we looking outside now? Are we looking how dark it is? Are we looking at the fog going through the valley? We'll see.
Admiring the nature of Utah.
Yeah.